you make anything of it?
I thought Sam was outstanding today. I thought that was probably our best practice today, back and forth, offense and defense. You know, we started the practice in 2 minute, end of the half, 2 minute, went down, kicked a field goal. You know, deep balls. It was great to see Terrace Marshall get loose for a deep ball today. So I thought it was probably Sam's best practice since he's been here.
You talked about Terrace. What have you seen these about a week or so of him at TAs? Do you think he can evolve into that number 3 receiver for you guys?
Oh, I think I think Terrace is already there at that position, that spot. You know, I always struggle with the whole who's a number 1 receiver, number 2. You know, just me personally, because like they're all kind of out there. You know, they're all playing at the same time. So we need playmakers. You know, and so I think Terrace is healthy. He's got a great process right now. He's one of the first guys in the building every morning. He's learning at a high level, and I think he's challenging himself. So last 2 days he's made some plays which we really need him to do.
What's the difference from last year to this year for him?
Just I think he got healthy, number 1, and then I think he's really learning the offense. I mean, at the end of the day, we can meet all day, and we do meet all day, but you learn from reps and doing, and so him having a chance to go do, you know, you start to have some success, which leads to confidence, which leads to more success, which, you know, and so I think that's what Terrace is doing. But I don't want to understate how hard he's working. Like, he's here every morning, 5:30. Like, that's – and some guys stay late, guys, but you have to put extra time in, and he's doing that.
You got Matt Corral back today. Cameron went on a podcast yesterday, and I don't know if it's gotten back to you, but he called playing only a couple of days after re-signing with the team one of the biggest mistakes he could have made. And I know that you guys have left the door open, kept the door open on the possibility of adding a vet. Is that door closing anymore as you guys get ready for minicamp next week?
I think as we finish minicamp, Scott and I will talk, you know, really at every position and say, hey, where are we? You know, and really at every position, you only have so much salary cap, and you're trying to be, you know, financially, you know, feasible, which is not really my realm. It's the personnel realm and Samir's realm. But I think, you know, at the end of next week, we sit down, we talk about, hey, you know, where are we? We've had a chance to see these guys now for, you know, 8 weeks, 9 weeks. You know, where do we need to bring some more help in? Where do we need to look for somebody at? Where are we good at? So I think those talks happen as you finish up minicamp.
And I guess my biggest, reason for asking is the timing, because he seemed to imply that he didn't have as much time to prepare, and, you know, he hasn't really had 2 full off seasons in the last couple of seasons that he's played. So that was where my question was coming from on the timing of you guys.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think we'll get to next week and really at every position just say, you know, what do we need to go expose ourselves to? I think we'll be pretty healthy going into camp, so there's not like, hey, we need to go get someone. But we'll look at every guy, evaluate every guy on our team currently, and say, hey, who's someone that we think, you know, can help us, you know, whether it be a D lineman, whether it be a veteran quarterback, et cetera, et cetera.
What can Sam Tanchwood do to make sure that you're okay with the position as it stands with the 3 guys you have, or 3 or 4 guys you have in camp right now?
Yeah, I think Sam just has to just keep working and developing. I mean, you know, we've made the offensive line significantly improved in front of him. He's learning this offense. You know, he started over at square one in this offense, and I just think he has to just keep stacking days. And, you know, one thing I think I've been very proud about with Sam is that he's taken very much a stoic approach of, hey, I'm going to control what I can control. A lot of people say that, but they don't do it. And I think, you know, he can't control the decisions that we make as an organization, but he can control when he's out there what he does. And I think by taking that approach, we've seen Sam get better and better and better. And, you know, I don't know what you guys thought today, but I thought, you know, that's it. We line up in the secondary. We line up with Dante Jackson and J.C. Horn and C.J. Henderson. Those are some guys. And I think day in and day out, Sam's gotten better and better and better. And I thought today was no exception.
Matt, I understand you said you and Scott are going to sit down. But the quarterback position in particular, I mean, how much ramp up, if you are going to keep open the possibility of a veteran coming in from outside, how much ramp up would that person need to, you know, be up to speed? I mean, is there a point at which you're not open to a veteran outside?
I think we're always trying to make the team better. You know, but if we have the guy, you know, I think at any position, and you guys are talking specific about one, I'm kind of talking open-ended, but if we have the guy on the team already, we don't want to spend more money to, you know, bring in another backup guard or you know, so I think, you know, we've had discussions, internal discussions. Right now I'm in the coaching phase, you know, of OTAs, and then kind of when we get to the end of it, you know, we make decisions, you know, about, you know, hey, who are these the 90 guys we're taking to camp, or are we bringing somebody else in? So, you know, in terms of the amount of time needed, I think most guys, if they came into training camp, would be able to, by the end of training camp, have things, pretty much in hand and mastered. That's 5 or 6 weeks of time to get ready, and I think most guys, you'd love to be here now, but most guys can learn our offense or our defense in that time.
At the quarterback position?
I think so, yeah.
How comfortable you are with what you have right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here to evaluate really guys. I mean, I think we're getting better. Matt's really young. He's trying to figure it out along the way, but I think Sam's improving. So, we'll just kind of take it as we get it.
Matt, offensive line-wise, after this period you've had, you mentioned being significantly improved. Can you quantify that a little bit and speak specifically about where the improvements are?
I think it's really two things, Scott. I think it's just technically, I think you can see. I think you can see a cohesive plan from Coach Campen that those guys are really bought into and following. Some of the things that really hurt us last year weren't always just getting beat inside, but a lot of twist games and things like that really bothered us. I think just fundamentally we've made some changes in terms of the way that we set, and I think you can see it happening and guys buying into it and improving. To me, it's not always just about improving the guys. We need Taylor Moton, who's kind of the linchpin of that defense. We need him to be a Pro Bowl caliber player, and I think he's making those steps. We see Corbett, we need him to be that caliber player, and so I think it's a combination of those guys buying in technically to what we're doing, and then obviously the additions, right? Brady's having a tremendous camp. Brady Christensen's having a tremendous camp. Icky's figuring it out as he goes. Michael Jordan's having a really good camp. So I think the depth that we have, I think is one of the key features. So it's the personnel, but also I think just those guys' commitment to technically to getting better and working together. If we can take 6, 7 hits off the quarterback a game, the quarterback's going to play way better. And so there's no pads on, obviously, but when you pass set and you have to kick and you have to block Brian Burns and get in front of him, I can see that those guys are improving, and I like where they're at.
Matt, what have you seen from Icky in that respect from rookie minicamp to this point?
Yeah, Icky has got a long way to go at that position, but he's making steps. He's getting better.
You say Sam was outstanding today. What is he doing better today than he didn't do a year ago this time?
I think the biggest thing that Sam's doing well right now is that he is throwing on time. I think you go back. I think the biggest thing that I want from Sam is just I don't want the catastrophic play. I mean, it's in national football. You're going to have interceptions, right? But we just can't have 3 interception games, 4 interception games, and that'll happen every once in a while. But it just can't happen routinely, and it can't happen because we're just being careless with the football. And I think what happens is as guys get more confident. When things go wrong, they know, hey, I'm going to go. Oh, there he is. The guys, when things go wrong, the best ones minimize those plays. And I think what Sam's doing right now is he's minimizing those plays. I think also footwork-wise, he's taking steps. And Sam's a quiet guy, but I think when you make big plays, I mean, we've thrown the ball deep more in the last 2 days than we probably had, in a while since. So I think those are the things they're getting better at. Maybe I said that he was outside. I thought offensively was one of our more understandings, but if I said he was great, because I think he was, it was one of our. It was definitely his best day today. So, and again, I think it's just kind of knowing exactly where to go. Ben's put a lot of plays in. We got a lot of plays in, and I think Sam's working at a really high level to make sure every day he walks in here, he knows what to do when things go right and then when things break down.
Now, would you say that this is close to the Sam Darnold that you guys envisioned when you traded for him?
I can't even. I mean, obviously, we want him to be a really, really competent quarterback. I think, again, I'm just talking about where I see him. To evaluate who he is as a quarterback has to happen in the games. This is shorts. I mean, it has to happen in the games, and he's got to go do it in the games. But in terms of what I ask of all of our players, like, hey, I want to see you guys improve and get better. Sam's definitely getting better, but a lot of guys are. I don't. There's no one right now that I'm unhappy with. I think this is a football team that likes to work and likes to play, and they're very competitive. And this is a team you have to tell slow down, not speed up, and that's a good thing.
What about Tommy Tremble? I know when you guys drafted him, you knew what you were getting as a blocker, but as a receiver, you said he had some development to go. So how do you see him?
I think he's been him and Sullivan both we're using those guys as guys who can be inline tight ends and run routes, and we're using those guys as guys that can split out and catch the football. So I think Tommy, you saw some of the things we did with Tommy last year. We handed him a speed sweep. At the tight end position, he ran in for a touchdown. The sky's the limit, I believe, for Tommy Tremble. And Tommy's a young guy. Like, he's still an anxious guy, and as he gets more and more confident, I think we'll see him continue to evolve as a player. But made a great catch yesterday on the sidelines on the scramble play. I think he'll be a weapon for us.
Same position, Ian Good. I saw he was a green.
Yeah, he got kicked last week, and it was like kind of an old high ankle sprain that kind of just bothered him. But he's right back out there, so he's taking some reps.
And we have not seen, I don't believe, at least the days we've been here, Xavier Woods.
Xavier still has a family situation that I encouraged him to be with his family. So, going back to Xavier's a pro. He'll be ready in training camp. But right now, more important things.
You mentioned Terrace kind of being like a project at least a couple weeks ago, knowing that you're going to have to at least take him on a little bit slowly. Where is he in his process of where you're at least feeling that he's ready to kind of take on a larger role?
I don't. I hope if I said that, I don't know how I meant it, because I don't think it's anything slowly with him. I think Terrace is a guy we're pushing to go.
With just the health.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, that's what we did last year, and we have to kind of monitor it. But like I said, he's taken on that process of like, hey, you know what? Like, what's going to slow me down? If I'm Terrace Marshall, it's my health. So he's not coming in at 5:30 like, hey, coach, look at me. He's coming in at 5:30 and taking care of his body at a really high level. So, one thing we had Luke Kuechly out there at practice. They talked to the team at the end. You got Christian McCaffrey, you got Matt Ioannidis in year 8, Shaq in year 8. You got Johnny Hecker, JJ Jan. You got a lot of veterans here that take care of themselves at a high level. And so, I say to the team all the time, hey, there's no excuse for not taking care of yourself, because you can see how to do it. And I think Terrace is a guy that just said, you know what, I'm going to take care of myself at a high level. So, we have to always be smart with him. In terms of not overdoing it, but that's really true for all the receivers. But I think Terrace is in really good shape right now.
One or two more guys.
Matt, obviously you're not just running around and exercising these guys. There is a plan with OTAs. Are you on schedule, ahead of schedule, behind schedule? Where do you? I know you don't want to evaluate, but just kind of the overall program to this.
No, yeah, and when I say I don't want to evaluate where guys are going to be for the fall. It's just my whole goal on this thing is trying to keep guys in focus and just worry about today, right? And that's what the best guys do. But I'm very pleased with how OTAs have gone. I'm very pleased with our work ethic, our mentality, but I'm also very pleased with our execution and our communication. The things that we weren't good at last year, we're doing well. So we're getting better at. And so whether that's red zone defense on defense, whether that's protecting the football, we're not turning the ball over very often in practice, and we have a good defense. We're protecting the quarterback better, as I talked about with the offensive line. Defensively, we're communicating better. So I think, the things that we want to improve, we're seeing improvement. So every player's seeing improvement, but then I think as a team, we're seeing improvement, and that's the goal. And you know what, we got minicamp next week, so I'm excited for that. We're going to work those 3 days and leave here, knowing that, hey, we've gotten better. We're going to be a good team.
And if I can ask if you can evaluate yourself now entering this third year and no OTAs the rookie year and limited because of COVID, all those things that you went through. How do you feel you've grown as a coach in guiding and learning?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you the biggest thing I have, it's no secret. I've been kind of under the gun a little bit, from everybody, and I think. You learn a lot about yourself in those things, right? It's like the fire, burning away all the dross and all the things that don't matter. You really say to yourself, hey, what really matters? And I think the biggest thing that I've tried to do this training camp, this OTAs, is really focus on the players and focus on my relationship with the players, and whether that's going golfing every week with a different group of guys, or going to dinner, or spending time. I think those are things that have helped me have success in the past. And you get to the NFL and there's a lot to do. I get pulled in a lot of different directions for non-football things, and then there was COVID. And so, if you just live and say, well, this is why I didn't do it, those become excuses. And I'm just saying, hey, how can I best do this? Well, I can't reach everybody on this team. That's why I have great assistant coaches, but there's 8 to 10 guys who, we've got to walk arm in arm, every day into battle. So I've tried to evaluate those things, tried to make sure that this staff was my best staff, and trusting them to do a great job. At the end of the day, I still have to be the guy that sets the vision, but I have a good group of guys to help me do that. So I think focusing on what's important, and that's really the players, trusting your coaches to do it at a high level, and making sure that we don't flinch on the standard. Sometimes when you don't have the success you want, you start to change and do a bunch of things. But the really successful people in the world, they double down on it, right? You can't say, "Hey, I'm a process guy," and then you don't get the results you want and change it. You have to double down on it, and that's what I'm doing. And I see the team turning. I see the turn happening. I see guys. It's no longer, "Hey, this is Coach Rhule's way or Coach Snow's way," because it becomes our way, and that's hard when you come and replace a really, really endeared, loved coach like Ron Rivera. It's hard, right? Because people loved him. And so I can't be him. I can't be anybody else. I can only be myself. But I'm really happy with where our team is at right now. And I think, everyone's always happy in OTAs, but, we've worked really hard. It's been hot down here. It's been whatever. And the guys have grinded. I appreciate them.
How many of the golf outings have you had, and how many players would that encompass?
I think I've gone out 3 or 4 times with them. I'm supposed to go out with the O-line on Friday, but I think Timo's son's having a birthday party, so I'm not sure what they'll do to that turnout. But I think probably 3 or 4 so far, and
By position group?
just whoever. I took the specialists out one time. I took, me, Christian, and Shaq and Chin went. So just different groups of guys. We don't have a ton of golfers on the team, but the guys who like to play golf, that's a great way to go spend 4 or 5 hours together. I always struggle because like Corbett hits the ball 345 yards, and that drives me nuts because I can't do that. But so I've some of those veteran guys, we've gone out to dinner. They have a ping pong tournament going on right now, and not many guys can beat me, so that's a good thing for me, for my ego. Oh, yeah, I'm nice. Not as good as Ecker, but I tell the players all the time I'm the champion of the 45 and over division. So, but anyway, I think no one can minimize. I don't care what business you're in. I don't care if it's your guys are in the journalism business or the media business or teaching business or policing or law. Life's about relationships, and you build relationships with propinquity and proximity and spending time together. And no one can ever, I will never underestimate the impact of the first 2 years of not being able to go out and get a bite to eat with somebody. Not being able to go out and sit down and sit there with Shaq and say, "Shaq, tell me what we need to do. How do you see it?" And Shaq saying, "Coach, what do you like?" Those conversations to me are vital, and so I'm just grateful that we have a chance to do those things now.
Thank you, Coach. Was Dustin golfer?